With 2 days of heart-stopping action remaining, Day 2 of the final round of the 2006 Alphera Dutton Rally National Series promised to be big. Over 90 awe-inspiring cars and close to 150 hungry competitors were ready to race with championship points on the line. Fresh from victory on Day 1, Peter Gazzard and Jeff Beaumont naturally started favourites entering Day 2. Something new for Pete, who after rear-ending another competitor in the Queensland round, finished 4th overall. Now gentlemen, congratulations leading after Day 1.
Thanks Glenn, yeah, we had a good run yesterday and we just hope we can continue it through.
Now Pete, it's a bit of a change for you to come into Day 2 and have the car in one piece.
That hurt, Glenn. I thought we were going to forget about the last one.
Oh, sorry, forget about the war. How's the car going? Because you've just built it, haven't you?
Yep, brand new car. It's going very well. Very happy with it.
In what was shaping up to be one of the most competitive rounds of the series, Andrew Fuller was leading the drivers on Day 1, although he had no idea how.
I have no idea. No, I thought we had a pretty average day yesterday, but yeah, no, well, went just tried to stay consistent, and yeah, all came right.
Half of the father and son team, Andrew has more experience than he lets on.
Yeah, no, it's the 5th year, I think now, so we've done all right for the last couple of years, so just trying to keep it rolling.
Still the same car?
Yeah, same car, just, yeah, it doesn't break down, it's surprising. I don't know how we do it, but yeah, no, it's a good car.
Winter Motor Raceway is a 3-kilometre circuit in national configuration located in Benalla, 80 kilometres east of Shepparton. Steeped in history, the circuit has existed for over 40 years and is a regular host of the V8 Supercar Series. Day 2, and the facility would stage 4 huge events, 3 circuit auto tests and 1 lap around the long circuit. President of the NRMA Motoring and Services, Alan Evans, is competing in the 2006 Victorian Dutton Rally, but not for the first time.
No, it's not my first. I don't think it'll be my last either. I'm really enjoying it. It's a great way to enjoy your motorsport in a safe environment and with a great camaraderie. They're a great bunch of people who do this.
But it is Alan's first time in the Volkswagen R32. So what does he think?
Oh, look, a great little car. It handles beautifully. It steers where you want it to go. It's got enough oomph in it for someone of my vintage, and I'm enjoying driving the car. It's a great car. I'd recommend it to anyone who wants to enjoy some form of motorsport and a reasonable price. It's a great car to drive.
So how important is safe motorsport from NRMA's point of view?
Look, we think it's an important facet of any young driver's life. Learning their own limitations, improving their skills, but also learning the limits of their cars in a safe, controlled environment. Not on the streets, not with the rest of the public, but in a safe environment. And our experience to date where we've sponsored a number of these things indicates that the kids appreciate that. They learn their limits, they learn to improve their skills, but they also learn, very importantly, the limits of their car, but also the limits of other drivers.
The first of the auto tests transformed the tight Turn 1 at Winton Raceway into a thorny trial for thirsty competitors. The previous owners of this Evo, event organisers Anthony Moss and Sam Beck, treated her mean to keep her keen. But since the car changed hands, with Rodney and Joshua Lindner adopting it in 2005, that's all in the past. Then Marcus and Andy Randolph in their 1999 Porsche GT3 took a turn for the worst, literally. Still at Winton Raceway, this horseshoe-shaped auto test, complete with 2 chicanes, determined who was relying on luck and who was banking on skill to bring home the bacon. Clearly unlucky, Motor Magazine's Sean Cleary hit a cone and copped the penalty. An additional 5 seconds added to his time. John English in the 2004 Holden Monaro GTS also copped the penalty after killing a cone. His years of experience driving Group A and C competition cars and V8 supercars, no help here. But not everyone was down on their luck. Ian Grosser in the 2001 Porsche 996 Turbo finished 3rd for the drivers with a 27.76. The circuit sprints. The first true test of speed consisted of 2 flying laps around Winton Raceway, where competitors battled the clock each other, and even backfire in the quest to be best. Had a chance here to make up some points with what some might call an unfair advantage. Luffy having driven the track before. But being the good sport that he is, he was prepared to part with some priceless advice.
Look, it's really a circuit that rewards smooth driving. You don't want to be bouncing off too many of the curves around here, although saying that I think the little the Focus XR5 will be seeing a few of those. But the real tricky part is sort of probably from the sweeper onto the old back straight up through all the twisty section up around the top. You just got to get your braking done early and just try and flow the car through the corners. If you try and sort of rush in, the car tends to understeer. You end up offline, and it's not the fast way. It feels fast, but it ends up being very slow. So as long as the guys keep the ego under control, they should be okay.
How do you rate Winton in comparison to some of the other tracks around the country?
Look, Winton's a lot of fun, but it's one of those circuits where if you start making mistakes, the flow-on effect is really great because one corner leads to the next and so on. And usually when you make a mistake at one, you get to get the shits with yourself, and by the time you get to the next corner, you're still worrying about the previous one. So you continue to make mistakes. You've got to have the car set up well, but you've also got to drive it well. It's not an easy circuit, and because most of the corners are a relatively slow speed, people think it's quite an easy circuit, but it's a very, very technical circuit.
After a shocking day one, a serious Simon Arthur scored a 1 minute 35.06 in the White Line Evo, putting him in third. An awesome effort considering Porsches flooded the top 20. The next auto test pushed both driver and car to the limit. The combination of corners and cones proving too much for some. After a trying day one, Dean Taylor was out of action again.
Yeah, fuse again, keep blowing. This is my last one.
Loyal Motor Magazine reader Grant Bidouar read his way into the Dutton Rally and is now competing with Motor Mag writer Sean Cleary in the brand spanking new VW GTI.
I'm struggling to enjoy myself, but I'll get there.
How did you win the comp?
I had to write in 25 words or less why I actually should be selected to come here, and managed to get through the finalists, then did a test with their friends from Murcott's. It was done over at Calder Park, and a few exercises, a bit of Motorcana, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So what's the GTI like to drive?
Yeah, the car's really good, actually. We're having a lot of fun with it. It's quite zippy and handles well. We've actually managed to do pretty good in our class, I think.
Sean, your thoughts on the GTI?
Yeah, the GTI was a great little thing. We've had a lot of fun with both in Queensland and here, and with the Advan tyres, it definitely gives it a lot more grip. But it's a real well-balanced little car, especially for a competition winner who hasn't driven it before, to go out and give it a good fang on the track.
The dark horse of this event is the awe-inspiring 2006 Skyline GTR. With its thoroughbred sportiness, the Skyline is turning the knuckles of its owner, John Caius, even whiter. Can John and co-driver Matt Coleman tame their beast and take the lead?
Yeah, look, it's a bit of an unknown. The car's very new and it's never been to a circuit before a couple of days ago out at Shepparton, and the car's been performing exceptionally well. It's quite a special GDR, and look, we're having a great deal of fun out there, and you never know come the end of tomorrow.
A thrilling car in terms of design and performance, but what makes this Skyline so different?
Look, it's a special model. It's called a Z-Tune, so it's a small number of vehicles that will ever be produced worldwide, and it's more of a thoroughbred. It comes with big brake standards, so it's really a car which you purchase, and basically everything's already done for you.
Back at Decca for day two of the final round of the 2006 Victorian Alphera Dutton Rally, and competition was really heating up with 3 action-packed events. 2 auto tests and a Motorcana still to come. With the outline of this course reminiscent of butterfly wings, competitors underwent a complete metamorphosis. While some floated like a butterfly, others stung like a bee. In motorsport, knowing how to execute a handbrake turn correctly is an invaluable skill. While most of us understand the theory, putting the tyre smoking technique into practice is not as simple as it looks, and getting it wrong can dramatically change the line you take around each corner. This impressive driving manoeuvre, demonstrated here by Nathan Luck in his 2006 Evo 9, deliberately puts the car into a sideways slide before turning the vehicle in the opposite direction, requiring split-second timing, but ultimately getting you around that corner quicker. The next two auto tests at Decca mirrored those of the day before, giving competitors a precious second chance to improve on yesterday's times, which for those at the top was crucial. Determined to stay on top, John Caius completed the first course in a very quick 22.48 seconds, putting him in first place on the first run. Day one, and Aranka Young put her Porsche Boxster S around this track in a respectable 1 minute and 7.17 seconds. Day two, and Aranka put her Porsche Boxster S around a wooden fence post. So where did it all go wrong?
It was pretty slippery out there this morning after yesterday's ride, and so when there was steering to the left but wheels locked up to the front and full brakes on, you've just got to sort of think, well, something's going to happen.
So, will she get back in the saddle?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's no stopping that.
SPC was incorporated as an unlisted public company in 1918. Its food processing plant was located in Shepparton, Victoria, where it's still situated today. That same plant, albeit a little larger, was the venue for the Twilight Motorcana, the most anticipated event of the rally for competitors and spectators alike. And with results like this, it's not hard to see why. Matt Cherry finished equal third here with a 27.52. Would this be enough to take the boys from a top 10 finish to a top 5? The Ford Mustang was a revelation. Launched in 1964, it sold 22,000 units on its first day of sales. Whilst the Mustangs of the 60s were iconic, times have changed. Introducing the new 2006 Mustang. Craig Dean tells us why modern means best.
Car's a 06 S281 Saline Mustang. It's got a 4.6 litre supercharged engine that produces 325 kilowatts.
But what's it like to drive?
It's got plenty of grunt. It's a live rear axle, which is a disappointment for a lot of people, but it makes it more fun to drive, that's for sure. And it's just got some good power and good grunt, good steer. It's just a good machine. It's a grunt machine.
Within 2 years of its release, 2 million Mustangs were produced. Did Ford get it right with the original? Mark Tierney thinks so.
It's been in the family for about 10 years now. It was originally built as a tarmac rally car for Targa Tasmania, built to the specs back in the day. Nowadays it's a little bit outlawed because they've cracked down on just how much power you can have, but we began with a 65 fastback shell and then we built a V8 supercar under it. So it's got somewhere in the range of 550 to 600 horsepower. The problem is when you try and measure 600 horsepower, cars jump off the dyno, so we don't know how much power it's got. In a word, enough.
How does she drive?
A lot of oversteer is the only way to describe it. 150 kilometres an hour in third gear. So even when you think you're under control, just stabbing it and you'll smoke the tyres.
So if he had the choice, what would Mark choose? Old or new?
Definitely go old school. I mean, they only got fat and heavier since the 60s.
Does Mark have the muscle to back up his claims? We found out as we pitted old Mustang against new to determine which was best. Let the battle begin.
3, 2, 1, go!
At the end of a nail-biting day two, the scoreboard read. Matt Cherry and Kim Ledger had clawed their way from 8th to 5th. In 4th, and dropping back 2 places, were Andrew and Ernie Fuller. While John Caius and Matty Coleman parked the 2006 Skyline GTR in 3rd, 1 place behind yesterday's 2nd. Perhaps the most impressive result of the day coming from series favourites Martin Ataris and Simon Arthur, who after a dramatic day 1 went from 7th to 2nd. Finishing first for the 2nd day in a row and seemingly unbeatable were Peter Gazzard and Jeff Beaumont in their weapon of an Evo 9. Stick with us because after the break we'll be back with all the action from day 3 of the Alphera Dutton Rally National Series.